welcome to In Deep, where we dive into the minds of a creator, come out wet with memories, sticky with inspiration, but fresh with insight. If that didn't make any sense, there's always the website that can help me remember what it is we're doing here. Discovering the talent, inspiration, and challenges behind some of the best film, television, and advertising, aka stuff we like, stuff we want to talk about, and people that we'd like to talk to. If you've not seen this before, you can always just go back and have a look at the wonderful people we've chatted to. Tom Rickard, hello to you in the chat, and everybody else is some of our greatest hits there, or you could just go and peruse the rest of our YouTube. They're all there. Everybody's there. Thankfully, the block is also off of Joe Douglas's little chat there, so you can go and do it. But why do we do this? We do it all for a good cause. So if you have a look here, if you're not sure, the link is below. We are here to support Crisis UK, which is a charity that is helping those affected by poverty and homelessness here in the UK. A very noble cause, very personal to me. But as if doing a good deed isn't enough of a thing for you all to do, we also incentivize you to give, because excuse me, each week we've changed the prizes that we're going to give to only go to people that donate within that week. So thank you very much again to Carol Baskin, whoever is under the pseudonym of Carol Baskin. Lol, you're in the running for a prize. James McLaughlin, you're in the running. Joshua Eiffel, hello, you're in it. Eva Quintus Frufret, I never say your name right. Hello, and thank you so much. And Andrew Telling, 20 quid. Get in. He's in for running, even though it's kind of biased at this point. 890. Come on, let's get it like as close to 1,000 or 2,000. As soon as the stop hits 1,000, we can move on, pick something else that is a cause that maybe you guys really is very important to you guys. So by the end of the stream, please let's see this baby moving a long way. Thanks again already to our supporters, and of course some of the prizes, which you might guess, of course, will be from the wonderful 5 points. Don't forget to where is this thing? Oh, it's under Betty. There you go. In Deep, 10% off the old brewing company. Make sure that you go and check it out. I mean, I've ordered some. I'm getting it. Go there. Just have a look around. It's great. I won't push you again. But today, of course, on Betty White, we are here for the main reasons. Wait. Even before we get to those guys, forget those guys. Let's just give a little shout out to the chat there, shall we? Hello to Tom Rickard, previous guest. Hello, good morning. Hello to Andrew. I know you're sitting and waiting in the lobby with Ed. How's it going? Daisy Sarah, as always. Natalie, good to see you. Thank you. Actually, we found your actual website that you were trying to drive us to yesterday. I've asked Nick to stick it somewhere, but I'll find it. Didn't know that you knew Francois Chandel. Shout out to Francois. We work with him quite a bit. Dane Armour, always there. Oh, Rattling Sticks here. Hello, Rattling Stick now has its own account. Wonderful for you to join us. Brilliant. I'm kind of, maybe, is Ali there? Maybe Ali is on Rattling Stick. Hello, Ali. Always hope you guys are well. Thanks for joining us, guys. It's a very exciting day. It's Friday. Yeah. Get in. It's Friday. I'm excited. I've been G'ing myself up listening to Tangled soundtrack this morning with my daughter. It's been a pretty big highlight. So without further ado, it's like, who are we going to be talking to today? We are going to be talking to none other as, ooh, my screen's a jumble. We are going to be talking to Andrew Telling, filmmaker who you probably know. And until yesterday, I didn't even realize our paths have kind of crossed, or may have crossed. We're kind of related in some weird way, me, Ed, and him, in a wonderful thing. So on Betty White, I'm just going to reveal there. I'm going to tell Ed to go because he thinks that this stream, the delay is too great. So I'm going to send him a message. He's going to call me back. And they're both going to be on with me having a chat today. So it's not just me today. Yes! This definitely can't go wrong. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Hey guys. Oh.
Hello.
I got you both on. They're giving me a dual screen today. How's it going?
Yeah, good. I'll let you talk to Andrew.
Well, you're gonna be on the screen the whole time. Good morning, Andrew. How's it going?
Morning, I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Where are you at the moment?
I'm in southeast London in my bedroom.
Southeast bedroom. Nice, nice. Where southeast? Is it Dulwich?
Brockley.
Brockley. Very nice, very nice. And Ed is coming to us live from a kibbutz in Cardiff, which has excellent Wi-Fi connectivity. I don't know what's happening with my hair. It's gonna get cut off. Thanks for joining us today, Andrew. What's Brockley? How's Brockley treating you? You were telling me yesterday that you're still getting your cycling in. What are you doing to cope?
It's good. It's good. I mean, I imagine it's like everywhere else. It's very quiet and sleepy at the moment. But yeah, it's good. The roads are quiet. It's a bit of a dream to ride your bike at the moment. It seems really a lot safer than normal. So trying to make the most of that.
Are you riding into Central at all, or are you just sticking around there?
The opposite way.
Are you riding out?
Out to the countryside, and just to get my slice of isolation. My 2 meters away from everyone.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, round about where I am here, the roads are still pretty busy because I'm on a main road. But I do sort of have fantasies of breaking the law, just getting out into the wilds of Central, where I just imagine there's nothing but tumbleweeds and skateboarders just living their best life in Central London. What about you, Ed? Are you planning on riding? Do you have your bike with you?
Yeah, I was just talking to Andrew actually, but because I got sick, I haven't been able to get out.
Yeah, Ed's been zero fun to have. But thank you very much for joining us today, Andrew. We, of course, have asked Andrew to come on and chat about some of his own works, but also some of inspirations of his over the years. First of all, make sure that you follow Andrew. His website is... I've just left his website. His website is here. Of course, it is andrewtelling.tv, and his Instagram is just andrewtelling. Nice and easy to find. Go and add him there. I see you guys are all active. And then also you can find him and more of his work on his newly updated Vimeo if you weren't following him already. But check that out later. Just hit follow, and we can pick those up because we're going to pick some special things here today. So before this all happened, Andrew, were you working on anything, and did it get shut down, or did you manage to finish stuff?
I just finished 2 projects. Luckily, I did a project for Mr. Porter, which was all of February. So shoot at the beginning, and then we wrap post in the last week, and then I was also finishing like a short film, which we managed to finish the grade in like the middle of March, in that week where everything kind of escalated in worldwide events. So and then luckily that was it on the work front. So everything's just kind of ground to a halt, as it has for everyone else. And fortunately, Mr. Porter decided to put the film out last week, and fortunately, it was about running, which seems to be everyone's new favourite hobby. So it's been kind of a blessing for that project to have happened and for it to come out at such a sort of convenient time.
I would actually say, we're going to watch this film in a little bit. I would actually say it's kind of cruel. Actually, it's brilliantly timed, but it's absolutely gut-wrenching. I don't run. I barely leave the house on a good day anyway before this whole thing, because I was marathon conditioning myself for this because I knew this day would come. I knew I would shine. But now watching a man run through the Alps is agony, absolutely agony, just dreaming of that. And I'm caught in this concrete jungle. I'm sure you guys all feel the same, or maybe you're calling from the Alps as well. And in that case, up yours. Enjoy your life. Actually, with that in mind, should we just jump straight into that one? Because I'd like to... no. That's not our first one. The first one we're going to play is going to be... Or should we just do that because we're talking about it? Let's do that. Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Good, Andrew? Should jump into it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go for it. It's a good start, I think.
Okay, awesome. This is, of course, if you want to watch it again, go to the Mr. Porter. We will stick the links down below. The Mr. Porter website, Why I Run. and there's a lovely little article here along with photo series to accompany it. Maybe just pick yourself up some Mr. Porter things. Thank you very much to Mr. Porter for letting us play it through the internet today. Here we go, Mr. Porter.
Being a runner is first a way to develop myself. There is so many buttons you can click on to improve yourself. If you don't know your body, it's really hard to push your body. Ultra running is over 100 kilometers. It's more than 20 hours of running, and it becomes a mental game. I like this part of the run where I can grow myself. I turned to ultra running when I was studying geology. It feels really good to be able to understand how the mountains moved and how they grew up. This is something that matters a lot to me. The GR5 is kind of mythical in the area, and it crosses the whole Alps mountain range from Geneva to Nice. I never run with headphones. For me, all the point of being outside is just like be able to hear, to interact, to feel the energy. Facing the unknown is something that really motivates me. I don't really like to plan and be locked on a specific route. I prefer to target a mountain range and then I tell myself, okay, I want to go there. Trail running is a lot about exploration. I like to feel the wind around the summit and then try to find like new way of progression in the area. In the end, it's an artistic sport. What I like the most in ultra running is this freedom. You don't have to follow a path, you don't have to follow a road. And the possibilities are endless.
That was Mr. Porter, which is, of course, you. Let me pull that up 1 second. Whoopsie daisy. The Mr. Porter shot, which you yourself went out and shot. What's the story behind it then, Andrew? Have you worked with Mr. Porter before?
No, this was the first time I've worked with them. Obviously, I was quite aware of them. I think for them, they said to me this kind of film is a bit out of their remit because they normally do a lot of sort of product-based stories, and this time they had a chance to go to like an interesting, a good runner, had a lot of personality, so they were keen to try something new. And I think I kind of got the gig because of some of my work for Rafa, so that put me in a good place. And yeah, that's it. Obviously, the Mr. Porter stuff's there to sell products as well. So the film is in conjunction with a Swiss running brand called On Running. Mm-hmm. And then, so Germain the runner is one of their sponsored athletes. But fortunately, it's not heavy on how the products are featured or how they're sold. It's really about the story of Germain and his essential routine and his inspiration to running. So it's very much a dream brief in terms of running.
Yeah. Well,
are you a runner?
No, but for the last couple of years, I've been really interested in trying to film running and to work for running brands. So when this sort of script came in, I was like, wow, this is a dream script, because most running films are set in cities or in the outskirts, from the suburbs. So to get a running film that's shot in the wilderness, one step on further than Rafa stuff. It was a bit of a dream brief, really. And then that coupled with Jermaine, it's like such a really nice and funny athlete.
Really?
I think my experience with some other athletes, they can be quite serious and very focused, so you don't get much external energy from them.
Yeah.
But Jermaine's the opposite. He lives in isolation full time. He's there in the mountains,
Wow.
living and breathing this. So it's like he was very happy for us to come into his world.
Crazy.
Where is that?
That is in the Mercantour National Park, which is an hour north of Nice in the south of France. So just before you get into the Alps, and it's quite close to Italy as well. But it's very, he says it's a bit of a secret. Not many tourists would know about it. They wouldn't go there. So it's very, very beautiful part of France.
Yeah,
It looks stunning.
it's absolutely stunning, yeah. Which is exactly why I absolutely hate it. Just on a practical thing, obviously with Rafa and the cycling films, you sort of have a mode and means to sort of get ahead of people and plot those things. How did you go about plotting this, like all the angles and things? Do you initially scout a route? Just on a really boring practical thing of like, how do you go ahead and say, this is the angle, this is it, I need to get here before that? Is it very stop and start, or are you continually racing ahead and letting the athletes set the pace?
I think on the cycling stuff, you're kind of racing a lot because of the speed of the bikes, and also partly I don't really want to interrupt cyclist flow. But for the Mr. Porter film, because we had, I think there was 12 people on set, including everyone, we had to really be like, we're going to shoot here, then shoot there, and then move along, and then the next half hour will be at this location. So we had half a day to recce everything. And then fortunately we had a really good route that we could essentially loop ourselves on, and within that route the terrain and the landscape changed quite dramatically every couple of kilometers, so we were very blessed with that. And then of course the weather was kind of, it's like a postcard really, so that really helped. But we walked out the whole of the kind of route that we were going to shoot, and then credit to Lee and Paul from Mr. Porter, we basically worked out the shot list and the time allocations around that, and then kind of shot as we went along. So we weren't running to one location high up the mountain. We kind of started at the bottom, for a better word, and then worked away to the summit, and then worked away back. But we're just very economical with how we shot stuff. I have to say a big thanks to Thomas Wooten, the DP, because he basically had a camera and easy rig on him all day. He never took it off, which saved us a lot of time.
Wow.
So I think there's one shot, I think the thumbnail shot, we shot that's just one shot. But there's some other shots that we would do, we did 4 or 5 times because they weren't quite right. So sometimes some things were quicker than others, but there was always like a constant flow of like the next shot. But that's the beauty of these smaller content jobs, is you've got a bit more. 12 people may not sound a lot, but it is a lot if you're trying to cover a lot of ground within 15 hours, So that's kind of how it worked. But we shot from dawn to dusk, and I think we had half an hour lunch break, and that was it.
Wow.
It was quite a crazy day, but it's very motivating when you have an athlete that's willing to do repeats, always looks good, always has a smile on his face, and then you've got a crew that are willing to keep going and the production to support you. Like, of course, you want to put those hours in and make a really good film.
Yeah, it's really lovely. I think as soon as you see it, I would have if I hadn't known that you'd made it, I think I would have immediately guessed you'd made it. Obviously you've worked a lot with DPs in the past, but you're quite avid shooter yourself. So how have you felt it sort of changed your process of detaching yourself from being so hands-on with the cinematography?
I think it's brilliant. When I get to work with other DPs. I mean, sometimes I just don't have a choice because I don't have the budget and it's really just that simple. And rather than letting the project slip away or asking too many favors than what I owe, I feel confident enough to be like, okay, I'll go and shoot this, and maybe I'll chat to some DOPs with the prep and give me some advice or this and that, but most of the time I love to just have a DP with me, and I tend to work with a couple of the same guys, Jeremy and Thomas, a lot on these projects. But I think because I came from the background of 5Ds and 7Ds when they're really expensive to buy and hire, I've always sort of shot. So I've always tried to continue that because I think it's quite important to sort of be a bit more grounded in that aspect. You need to be able to show your DP what framing you want to do, It's great having a mood board with your images and references, that's super important, but I think if you have the ability to pick the camera up and also kind of show them, that's really healthy and important, because then they might understand that a lot more clearly than pointing at an image that was shot in completely different conditions.
Oh, nice. We've got some questions here from hello, I'm Drew. Hello, Drew. Drew asks, what gear was he using? Do you mean? I'm sure he doesn't mean running gear. It's Mr. Porter. But what was that shot on?
Camera geek question.
Yeah, camera geek. Yeah, what was that shot on?
I think it's the Alexa Mini with like the standard Carl Zeiss Super Speeds Mark III. I think
Just the standard.
Really simple. I think we only used 3 lenses. I think we had one of those. Oh yeah, there's an ingenue zoom as well, just to help us out when we couldn't, to make some locations seem far away or close. So, and an easy rig, and then a focus puller who also was a first AC and many other things. He did like 4 jobs in one. So credit to Rich.
Wonderful. Yeah, nice guys. Yeah, keep those questions coming. Nothing's obvious question or ridiculous. We all want to know this stuff, and so from there, let's go back in time to the Rafa job, which of course is something which was actually what introduced your work for Rafa, is what introduced Ed and I to you and your work overall. And so let's roll that, and then we can have a discussion about that and how that's sort of cemented your career and influences your filmmaking going forwards. Let's go.
Boom. Told you, 8 o'clock. Took me 10 minutes longer. It came from the moment that Canon came back from the so-called Cantabrico.
Just wanted to do something that was just going to push me that little bit more. And the first person that popped to my mind was Walter.
We decided that it would be cool to ride in different countries and to do some riding on the roads less ridden.
It's a natural route to go from that bit of France into Germany, through Switzerland, and then into the northern Alps. And Phil gave us the routes and said, go for it. But it seems like we're both quite good at realising when one of us wants to be quiet and then when one of us wants to talk.
The first day I had a major crack. I bonked on the second to last climb. I thought, what are you trying to achieve here? You won't make it. You won't make these 10 days.
Oh, huge! Huge day, guys.
618.
That sounds more.
It's more than we thought it would be.
Yeah.
Big day. I knew before that Kendall is a much stronger rider than me, because I'm much more steady rider, you know. I set up my pace and I can keep on going.
I mean, you find your own rhythm, so generally on these rides we've been riding as much as we can together, but then if you're on a 2-hour climb, you both set your own rhythms. Things happen as well. If you stop to take a picture, have a look around, he catches up.
If he takes off and I'm out on my own, I really don't like it because I know he's much stronger, and I kind of like it too when seeing him taking off and riding this much harder pace than me. I enjoy seeing him like killing it on the mountain.
I had a tough morning on the third day. Everything was hurting, and I just thought to myself, what the hell am I doing? But I think that's like all part of it. You go through these stages, even in one day, it can just be up and down.
But how you get through, it's a mental thing. At a certain point, you stop questioning and you just pedal.
Cycling, it gives me space, like mentally. It's that metronomic, like.
Yeah, you just start thinking about so many things, and at the end of the ride, I always ask myself, what have you been thinking these past 8-10 hours? But I never can answer it. There's so many things that go through your mind. I think about the kids, I think about my wife, I think about doing another big challenge, I think about quitting. I think about my brother, for instance, who died in a car accident. I think about, it's not always that it has to be like good things you think about. There also can be like some drama going on in your head. But on a bike, once you get off the bike, it's all over. It's kind of what I said before. It's my escape. One way to survive. Yeah.
All the way to the top, boys. All the way.
There's still a lot to go.
Oh, you need to go up a little bit more.
Shit. 30 meters.
Fucking no prep to do, no breakfast to do.
Nothing.
Nothing. Beer,
Nothing.
pizza, or whatever. Feed me something.
Okay, and that was Rafa Cicerone, which, whether you don't know or not, cinematography was by Andrew Telling, and also parts of the score, which I was surprised to find, sound design and mix beyond that, Smoke and Mirrors, edit by Gerard Harris, grade by Joseph Bicknell at Cheat, which is really quite striking in that piece, just pulling out all those landscapes, and the definition there is really, really beautiful. As Rattling Stick pointed out there, loving the atmosphere. It's a really special piece. Rafa has played a big part in your life. Played a big part in your life in your filmmaking career, Andrew. How did it start?
There was a film competition in 2012 that I saw in Little White Lies, and it to come and film their sort of pro team, make a film for their pro team, would give you 500 quid. Bring your own kit. I entered it. I only had films and street artists at the time, and then I got through to the final round of the pitch presentation. Went in hopelessly, messed the pitch up, and then but they liked the street art films. They were like, you captured the tone really well. You could do that for cycling, and then I kind of got this Rafa job, and then didn't think much of it, and it went well, luckily, and then that's kind of led on to like a 5-year relationship with Cicerone being at the end of that 5 years. But so yeah, that was 2012 to 2017.
Yeah, it's been part of we've discussed previously about in previous ones with Joe Douglas about how filmmakers for Gatorade and Under Armour have sort of changed the vernacular of that part of sports and fitness. And at least from our perspective, it was very much like your films of Rafa sort of shaped a very European, but also obviously different, more thoughtful, almost ethereal, and I want to say, I think you said on actually while we're chatting, while they was playing, about struggle and things like that. It was very much a different, more personal sense of selling a sports brand, and that we hadn't really seen before, had much experience with before. And was that sort of part of, were you part of shaping that, or tell us about your journey into how that sort of aligned with your sensibilities? It's a terrible question.
Well, I think at the time I was trying to be like, how do I set myself apart as a director or a filmmaker? And I was making music way before making films, so naturally I was trying to combine the two. 5Ds and 7D era, it was affordable to own that camera with those lenses, and then I could make the music at home and put the two together, and I seemed to be creating this aesthetic for myself. And I was just very fortunate, as with many things in life and winning jobs and stuff, like right time, right place. Like my aesthetic, visually and sonically, seemed to fit with Rafa's aesthetic, which was this outdoor, atmospheric. You're seeking something within yourself, but there's a lot of external struggle too. The two seem to go really well, and I think that's why I won the competition, and then that led on to a few other pieces which I was able to have a bit more money to make longer films, but also polish those films as well, so sound mix and grades, and then afford myself a bit more time to make better pieces of music. So from there it just kind of grew, and I think as Rafa grew, I kind of grew, and it was just really nice parallel relationship. So I didn't just film customers on their bikes. I filmed Bradley Wiggins at Team Sky. I did the women's team, Rafa Canyon SRAM, which is super interesting. And then I did something like Cicerone, which has nothing to do with the marketing department. They were just friends of my commissioner, and then Rafa were giving them some money and some kit, and they thought their story was interesting, and then James Fairbank was like, why don't you go and turn this into a film? I think it has potential. So that's how Cicerone kind of worked. And then there's other sort of product related films as well that I did. So I kind of, over my period of time, I worked in many different areas of the brand and their kind of customer base, but that also meant I kind of got a really good understanding of what Rafa were and are at that time. But what I will say, and I think not a lot of brands and not a lot of agencies get this when they see Rafa's work, is how much creative trust they give their freelancers and their creatives. I've still to this day haven't experienced anything else with another brand or agency in terms of how much sort of creative trust I've had, and also just freedom, not just on the shoot but within the post as well. It's a kind of it's a very rare and interesting thing, and I think that doesn't always come across when you watch stuff on Vimeo on the website with your rose-tinted glasses on the internet. See this very polished final thing. I'm guilty of it too, but I think that's a huge credit to Rafa, and I don't think that gets said enough.
And so
do you think
No, you go ahead, Ed.
Love cycling, or were you a keen cyclist before you started doing this, or did you?
So again, it's like the running thing. So 2012, I was making lots of films on street artists, Conor Harrington back then, and then a few other friends, and I was somehow finding this genre for myself. And then I was like, I always knew I wanted to do sport. I thought that was the next logical step for me. And then I got the Rafa gig, and it was really good. But for the first 2 years, I was like, this is really important for me commercially. I need to make sure that I make the best work I can, because I don't know when this gig will end. I never thought they'd commission me after the first film. I kind of laughed it off. I was very naive and in my 20s about it. I was like, that's the one-off. But luckily they did. But it's kind of, it kind of carried on from there. But I think midway, I think we did a trip in Italy, and we drove across the Italian Alps for a week, and it kind of blew my mind of what cycling could be, and the peaks and the troughs and the landscape and the food. And then since then, I haven't stopped cycling. But now, because of that, I have a set of friends that I've made through making Rafa films, and I have a set of friends that I work with on other projects now who I've met through Rafa. So it's not just been a job; it's been quite a huge part of my life for the last 5 years. So yeah, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
And so, have you found it difficult to move on from being part of, when somebody sort of establishes a sort of mode as you were part of, have you found it difficult to sort of move away from it? Have you been trying to, is that something that you've tried to shake off? Has it been difficult for you to move away from, saying like, I'm not just a cycling guy, I don't even like bikes?
Well, I think as you guys know, when you're working in agency world and brand world, they all love their labels, you know. So for a while I was known as the cycling guy, for a better word. There's a few other people like us, and it was quite harder for people to see beyond the mountains and see beyond two wheels, for a better word. So yeah, it was difficult. So I think there was a couple of years ago, I was like, well, I need to. It's just really hard to get the scripts I want to get to, or to even get the smaller paid content jobs with other sports. So I kind of deliberately started to try and write other film ideas and contact other sports brands to try and get other work into my reel, because I speak for other filmmakers. I mean, we all know we want to do other work, and we all know we have these ideas, or we see maybe this piece that has like some nice after effects in it, or in motion camera stuff. We know we can do it, but it's really hard to convince the powers that be, or to win the job, if you don't have it on your reel. So the last couple of years, I've just been trying to explore the other ideas that I want to do, and just let the Rafa work be, really. Yeah. And fortunately enough, it still seems to be living and breathing. Like I think I got the Mr. Porter job off the Rafa film that was shot 2.5 years ago, which is crazy, but you know, maybe I did it justice at the time, and that's it. But you know, yeah. I think that's another thing, isn't it? I think the amount of work that is churned out at the moment, I think we all too often forget to look back at what we've done and be like, actually, that still stands up, that's still okay.
Yeah, it is. It sometimes can. I suppose you can have a funny relationship with it, but especially when you have a piece, when you produce a piece together with other people as well, that every aspect of it feels timeless, and you have the benefits of these beautiful landscapes, beautifully captured, and everything about it clicks together. So it will stand the test of time, and it's always going to work in your benefit as much as you curse it. But you've also always moved away from not just natural landscapes and natural lights and things. You have always been engaged through the arts and capturing different aesthetics, which are some of the ones which of course we'll show in the reel, some of your cos work, and of course as you mentioned, Conor Harrington, which is one of the other films that we're going to show, which kind of demonstrates a different sensibility and interest to it. So let's roll that, and then we can have a chat about that one. Here goes.
It's very unknown, but it's the most exciting part. You know, when you're standing in front of a blank canvas, you think this is going to be the one. You know, this is going to be your best piece. You're just going to smash it on this one. And that kind of first day or two, when I'm blocking everything in like really fast with the rollers and just, you know, throwing everything at the canvas, it's just so exciting. But after a few days, or into the second week, when you're trying to put it all together and it's beginning to take shape in front of your eyes, that's when a little bit of disappointment inevitably creeps in. I have quite a few different tools that I use, from the squeegee to the palette knife to the brush, and I find myself using my hands a lot actually. Kind of dabbing the paint on with my fingers and then smudging it with the palm of my hand. Kind of get some interesting marks. I like to have as much variety as possible, so when you look at the canvas you're seeing parts that are, you know, super loose and dissolved, and then there's another section that might be quite detailed and realistic. I like my paintings to look like they're on the edge of reality, but at the same time they're on the verge of collapse. Once the white of the canvas is gone, you can see the bare structure of the painting, and that's when it begins to feel finished. And once I pick out a couple of sections, whether it's a hand or it's an ear or it's the pattern on a waistcoat, and paint that up to a kind of a relatively satisfying standard, then that's when I begin to feel that the painting's almost finished. It's definitely a tighter body of work than what I've done in the past. So I've been thinking a lot about what's going on in the world. There seems to be so much division, both politically and socially at the moment. And I wanted to highlight this by focusing on red and blue as a dominant theme in the show. I've always walked a fine line between kind of realism and abstraction. For a long time, the abstraction came in the form of kind of graffiti tags and splashes, that sort of thing that I used to use to cover up the figures. But now I like my figures to look like they're falling apart. I'm painting these scenes with very grand political figures, but at the same time I'm trying to suggest the collapse that's approaching.
She's right. You know,
Just the right out to the country.
We're just having
you got to wait, isn't it? It's like photography. You got to wait. It's got to wait it out, and then hopefully the light is just right. So
we're having a chat about your comment there, Natalie. Just said, Andrew just said, yeah, he's right. Which does I think himself a disservice there. I think everything about that production is really beautiful. But again, the Conor Harrington piece there, very much showing a different hand in that, a little bit impressionistic, but again still with little tones of the ethereal and really beautifully, artfully captured. Tell us about your relationship with Conor Harrington and how this project came about.
So I mentioned I used to make films with street artists back in sort of many years ago. I started on DV tape and then 5D. During those times, I kind of met Conor through other artists, and then he was like one of the first people to sort of see the value in making a film and on his process or on his travels, and then he kind of commissioned me. And then we've kind of done a project pretty much every other year since 2012. But I think we've done like 6 or 7 films, but all quite different stuff. Some like classic documentary stuff, but then also some films for some of his gallery shows. And then this last film that you just showed is ironically more of the typical artist documentaries that we're all kind of used to. But it's strangely enough, we had never gone down that avenue. I was always a bit dubious about doing it, so it was it kind of felt time that we could do it. I felt we kind of both matured a bit in what he wanted to say, where his work was, but also how I wanted to approach it, and that kind of less more approach, I think, that you kind of see throughout the film.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. I just see, there we go. So Natalie is just doing some gushing. Somebody named Wooty Toot asks, dialing back to Cicerone, over 10 days, how did you keep your creative mind refreshed every day after day? Did you ever get lost or feel that the narrative naturally progressed enough to keep it somewhat focused? What do you say to that?
I looked at selects most nights and then like color selected what ones were really good. So the next day I'd had like a simple bullet list of what shots I needed. So the last day of the shoot, the end of the 2 weeks, like I shot all the first morning light stuff. It just happened to be the best morning for it. So it kind of worked like that. And then the interviews were done in the middle of the trip when they were really starting to get fatigue, but they had no awareness of my film, my ambitions of what I wanted to get. But the guard was down. The hardest part was the first 3 days because they were just so excited, because I've been planning this for a long time. They're so excited and so aware of me and our trip ahead stuff. I kind of had to like hold myself back a bit and not film too much because it all looked too pretty. I wanted like, I was waiting for Switzerland where everything just got bigger and grayer and harder, and they got tired, and they, and you could see the relationship develop and how they were helping each other. But there's a lot of reviewing each night and each day, but it was as and when you can, really.
Yeah, it's really, really awesome. So but is this the final piece that you've done with Conor, or have you worked since? Do you have plans to return to work together on future stuff?
That was the final piece. That was done, I think, a year and a bit ago. But even that one, we shot tests for it in 2016. Like, there's all the 16mm stuff, which is the other side of the canvas. So we did some 16mm tests with a DP called Jeremy Ballender, and that all worked out. But it wasn't quite the right time for Conor to make that film and for the show. So 2018 or 17, we then came back to it, and we knew that the 16mm could work. So we just shot the film, and everything was a bit bigger and better and stuff. But Conor's one of these. I have maybe like 2 or 3 ideas floating around in my head. Conor is a guy that will have between 12 and 20 ideas. It's like there's always chats about different things, and it's quite a very interesting and inspiring person to be around with. So
yeah, wonderful that when you cross paths with these people, and then you end up building collaborative careers and things together in that way. I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. Also, shout out to Father as well. as well. Definitely need to give them a shout out, who we featured before. They were the music composition, of course, Joseph Dunn, the DOP. Andrew was the director and editor on that piece. Smoke and Mirrors involved in the sound mix. Colorist Luke Morrison this time with Electric ETC. I'm just going to say ETC. Really beautiful grade on that. With the like sort of the squeegee and the paint detail, that's really beautiful and abstract and very impressionistic. Did you think of shooting through glass initially, or how did that idea sort of come to you?
There's an American artist called Michael China or China or something, and he does all the artwork for a label called Ghostly International.
Okay.
And he has more of an experimental portfolio with oil paints and stuff. And I remember looking at his work and being like, oh wow, it looks like he's painted on Perspex. And I thought that would be really interesting for Conor's work. But then it's just that thing, isn't it? Like, you're making an artist documentary. I've watched a lot, but how do I put my slant on this, and how do I try and make it differently? And a lot, and Conor's been photographed a lot in that studio as well. So it was really just trying to kind of show technique as well, like just the tools that Conor's use are like, you can buy them from like a DIY shop,
Yeah.
A sponge, like a squeegee, stuff you could kind of clean windows with. So it's like, it's really down to his technique and the application of oil and like the mixture of water and special substances and stuff. Like, if I could try and get on the other side of that and you see that kind of movement going across, I thought that would be super interesting, especially if I was a painter, which I'm not, but I was just trying to get that, really. And also just how, because it's oil paint, it just moves so much differently to other types of paint as well. So,
yeah.
And that was the other reason to shoot 16mm too, because also that would capture the depth and the tone of paint completely differently to just slapping it on digital. But that's also why the gallery stuff is done in digital, so you have a bit more of a cleaner sort of feel to being in that gallery space.
Yeah, oh no, it's absolutely beautiful. Rex.
So, question, sorry, I was just going to say, Rex has asked a question about the VOs in your work, which I was also going to talk about. The VOs feature, like in Mr. Porter, the Rafa, and this one. When you approach a project, how much of that VO are you kind of like scripting, or how do you approach getting the right VO?
There's always like try and do that like this 5-question sort of point thing. Like not. It's more like these are the 5 questions I want to ask, because I hope by that point we're in a conversation, and then I'm getting what I need, and you're relaxed and I'm relaxed. Because I've done enough jobs now where you write the questions and then it's 20 questions and then you've written 20 answers for it, and it's just, and then you're struggling to kind of get the answer. So with these personal projects, I try and avoid all of that and just have top line questions and then just try and have a conversation, really. But it's also an environment as well. Like the Conor VO was done in my wardrobe because that was the best way to build a sound booth, because you didn't have any money. So we just did some bed sheets and stuff, and you know, and I know, and Conor hates VO. He will definitely confirm that. But I had to make him feel comfortable, and I didn't want to be in a room with him. So all these kind of things. So and it's the same with like Cicerone. It's just like one-on-one. And both of those done after dinner when everyone's relaxed, and but also done in a part of the hotel with the B&B where no one else was at. It's nice and quiet, and it was just calm. So yeah, just trying to find those environments, but also keep the questions simple, because I've been in enough jobs where it's overcomplicated and messaging is being forced on our subjects, and it doesn't work like that. You'll get a more genuine answer if you just let those people speak.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Lovely. Let's see, Nick's asking a thing. What's he saying? What are the 5 questions?
Trade secret, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got to be a trade secret.
Probably, yeah. I don't no idea, but it's more like a rule of thumb, isn't it? Like you write out all the questions, but it's like when you write a treatment, you need to tell your film in 1 line, really, 1 or 2 lines. So you should be able to tell your story or summarize your story in a simple few lines. So those simple few lines should be your questions, broad questions that open up a conversation.
Yeah, very true. With that in mind, let's jump into the last piece of yours, which you finished very recently and you haven't shared with many people for some reason or not. Andrew wanted to experiment with other modes and break out of perhaps things that he hadn't necessarily done before. So we're going to watch, do I pronounce it Rahidig, or are those initials?
Rahidig, it's the Welsh run. We shot it in Wales, and just trying. I like choosing names for films that no one can pronounce. That seems to be an ongoing theme. So might as well just keep it going, right?
Yeah, that's good. It's good. Here is Rahidig. Can't believe I nailed that.
Hey, it's me. I'm sorry I woke you. I had to leave early. You know what it's like. You don't want to go at first, but once you're out, all the resistance starts to just fade away. 1 foot in front of the other. That's what they say, isn't it? A mind trick. Something to get you over that first hurdle and up that first hill. It's not before long, though, everything else takes over. And then I started thinking about what you said last night. And how I think it's a good idea.
Rahidig again, Andrew Telling, DOP, another collaboration with Jeremy Valander, music father, sound design by Gurdeep Singh at Big Kahuna, and the grade by Punderson Gardens, John O'Rourdian there. Tell us about this project. How long did you sort of have it in the back of your mind, and how long have you been working on it?
This kind of comes after that Rafa conversation we had, where there was like a need to make different types of work, and I pitched in a few car jobs, dream car jobs. One was with Land Rover, and I didn't get them for a number of reasons. Not having a piece in the reel, not having enough brands, or not being seen as an experienced director, So I was like, well, that's frustrating, because, if you swap the bike for the car, I could do this. So I just try to use that opportunity, really. So I decided to go and do what's more common in America, really, is just kind of create my own commercial spec, but then just use that as like a canvas to put in loads of ideas that I haven't had a chance to do. But this was all around the time we were doing the Conor Harrington camera tests, and I kind of ran out of money. So at that point, I'd been to Wales, found a bunch of locations by myself, kind of visualized it, showed Jeremy, and he was like, yeah, this could really work. And then I just ran out of money. So I was like, bollocks. So I parked it on the shelf, and forward a year later, and a couple of jobs under my belt, and I was like, oh, I've got enough money now. And so I went back to Wales a few more times by myself, drove the locations, tweaked the kind of script or like the narrative that I'd had tried to written originally, and just kind of was able to visualize the film working there. But as the sort of time had gone on and I'd done other films, I felt like the narrative had refined itself more. And luckily Jeremy was still on board, and he was in the same boat as me. He shoots a lot of high-end fashion stuff for Gucci, Nike, or like all the big luxury brands. But he's like me, we just want to go and make something that's really beautiful, that interests ourselves, and that is, a bit like how we started, this DIY kind of filmmaking mentality. Mm-hmm. So I took him and Rob, the driver, up to Wales on this final recce, and they both saw the film as I could see it in the landscape and how it could work. And that was a huge sort of motivating factor in terms of trying to get it onto the next stage. So that was all kind of last spring, and then we finally found the dates and we shot it in end of September. And the reason was that is because the beauty of Wales, as you're about to find out, Ed, is that it rains a lot all year round. So you can have 3 seasons in one day, and that's basically kind of what happened on our shoot. We had all types of weather. I think there's a really heavy downpour section that was never in the script, but it just happened and we ran with it, and it just looks great and it works really well with the sound design.
It adds really good production value. You're just like, hey, multi-day shoot.
Yeah.
Completely.
It was like a week-long shoot.
Yeah, and we shot, we travelled up on a Saturday, and then we came back to London on a Monday night. I think we had 4 or 5, either first light or last light slots to shoot in, and then the rest could be done in normal light, and then obviously, of course, you've got a crew to feed and to look after. But I found a location that was so remote, no one really bothered us, and we're outside the national park, so it's totally fine. But luckily, you've got a different kind of scene or a different landscape. So just really fortunate. And then of course we did the London stuff. That was all done in the usual spots. Everyone shoots car commercials in London, but that was just done one evening, I think a month later on. And then from November to February was just post, just trying to get it right. But there was a big thing. It was never supposed to be like a VO script. It was supposed to be really elemental with sound design and like feeling and breathing and stuff like that, but it just didn't work. So at Christmas, I sat down with an ex-Rafa copywriter called George Tyson, and we just worked out a script that was based around a voicemail to this guy's girlfriend, just to try and give the story a bit more narrative, but also stay away from the poetic kind of stuff we're all used to.
Okay.
And then luckily that seemed to fit on top of what the narrative that we'd shot, and it kind of came together. It's the same with Father's music. There was never supposed to be that much music in it, but at the end of the day, the sandwich needed a few more layers. It needs this glue, and I'm always talking about the glue, but I think, with the VO, with the sound design, with the music, that's the glue. It's all they're all working together really well. And all we did at the end was just create more space. So we were just taking a bit of music out, taking a bit of sound design out, letting Rob VO breathe more. I think we lost a few lines in the final thing. But yeah, I don't know. It was all, I was never going to have 50 grand to go and shoot car spec. So it's also about being clever. What can we do? So shooting for free. We shot that on set. It wasn't done in post. That changed everything for me and Jeremy. We didn't have a Russian arm. We had a sunroof and a city saddle. And we were very clever, but and it wasn't shot as a documentary. Everything essentially was loosely storyboarded, and then we shot to that because it was important to have a routine and to treat it kind of like a commercial, because I've still got a crew of 5. And I'm doing 4 jobs, so I need to make sure their health and safety is good. But we're going to eat. We're going to do an early start, but that's okay because everyone knows what shots we're going to get. So it's just that kind of trying to be understanding to your surroundings and crew.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was the decision behind the 4:3 aspect ratio?
My love for a film called Cold War. Just, I think I watched it the year before, and then I have consequently watched all his other films. And most car stuff is anamorphic, wide, slick, coated with lots of polyboard, and I didn't want to do that. A producer wisely told me a year and a half ago, if you're going to go and make a spec commercial, don't make what they've seen already. They want to be seeing what you do and how you think and how you work. So I kind of always had that at the back of my head, and then that's kind of what went into everything with this project. And then as it grew over Christmas, it was like, this can be its own thing now. It's not a short film, but it's a vignette. It's like this weird 60-second kind of film I've created. So how do I promote this? But it's it's what it is now, and it's done, and I couldn't be more grateful for it, But it's been a great learning process and curve, and very fulfilling to try out these things. You can't get away with 4:3 in a lot of commercial stuff still.
Yeah, I get. If you're going to go try something different,
with it like you used to.
Yeah, I think it's really good to cross genres as well, mash them together, because it feels like it could work as. Is it sport and fitness? Is it running? Is it a running film? Is it a car film? Is it a short story? It feels really good in that sort of way, and it feels a little bit abstract. And it is fresh. You don't see that. You don't see the 3/4 angle, the beauty angle of the car. It again, just much like I think Dan was talking about the Mr. Porter before. It's very much, it falls within the world of a brand film, not necessarily a product film. Which has a really good feeling. So I hopefully, I know this has just come out, hopefully that leads to more, that leads you to inevitably a whole bunch of car commercials where they say, we're gonna need the 3/4 shot, right? You're gonna get that shot. And you go,
the running thing's, it's hilarious because the runner's in it because I wanted to shoot running. I hadn't shot Mr. Porter by then, so.
Oh.
2 running films come along at the same time now, isn't it?
That's what they say. That's what they say. So, in case you guys don't know, of course you know, you're here, you've all been here before. We don't just look at Andrew's work, we do also ask our guests to pick out a handful of works that they admire, have been influenced by, or would like to tackle at some point in the future. And so, of course, Andrew's been talking about car commercials, or pieces like that. And so the first piece he has chosen to share with us today and for us to talk about is Skoda Spot, directed by Jared Knecht. I'm going to always guess how to say those names. And I'm going to roll it for you now, and then we'll have a little chat for you afterwards.
I feel like I know you, but you're just a ghost to me. And when I sit beside your shadow, somehow it comforts me. You are the sweetest melody I've ever sung. Canta mi luna, esta melodía que solo el mismo dentro de mí, el mismo dentro de mí. Mi luna, noche.
That was Skoda, by, as I said, Jared Knecht. Production by I can never say it, but DOP Oliver Miller. I will, of course, I'll pull up. I can never say it. Germany. If you want to go and check out more of Jared Knecht. So, what is it about this piece that spoke to you and made you pick it out, Andrew?
I think, well, I was always, when I was writing, and I think we were also doing the editing on the car film, we were always like looking at what the industry was doing and like looking, you know, at what car commercials were saying and how they were shot and stuff like that. And then this Jared Knecht piece came out for Skoda, and I think Jeremy Ballender sent it to me, and we were both like, "Whoa, it's we're both drinking from the same cup." Like, it's 4:3, but also it's black and white. I mean,
Yeah.
When was the last time you saw a car commercial? A lot of stuff in cars is like, you know, are you the guy that shoots the red car or the blue car or the white car, or do you do the desert scenes? Like,
yeah,
the white car way. And it's really, you know, it's great that kind of pretty decisions on that higher up, with that kind of brand are being made and that kind of work's being produced. That, and you know, it's shot by Ollie Miller too. You know, like these are two guys at the height of the powers at the moment. So it's really just tipping my hat and like looking at, you know, what kind of work is out there at the moment. And I was just thought, this is kind of the work I would like to make, but also like well done to them. Like they really nailed it.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like, I think Joe was saying it the other day in his chat. You know, I watch and research a lot of adverts anyway. It's just kind of, it's the industry I work in, and I enjoy watching adverts, you know, and I like seeing the craft behind it. So that Skoda ad is just a great example of something I've seen and really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And, you know, tiny bit of jealousy, but in a good way.
Yeah, it's very timeless, I think, in that way, and it does have a little, that sort of abstraction part of it. It reminds me of great commercials from the 90s.
Totally.
And it feels like a nice warm blanket. Maybe that was the intention, but it feels like it's not necessarily a commercial. It feels like something like a coffee table book instead, which is lovely. I can definitely see why you love it. Natalie, I think you're just gonna have to Shazam that song. I don't know, but if anybody knows what that song is, drop it down there. Natalie would like to know. Yes, Rex, it is a wonderful edit. I can't tell you who edited it, but it would be nice to know. So the next piece as well that we asked you for, the one that you picked out, is perhaps you've seen it, the wonderful and rather prolific now Gustav Johansson's Volvo, which we're going to roll for you now, and we'll have a chat afterwards.
Honey, you don't have to worry. Everyone's a little bit nervous on the first day of school.
I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you do. You can decide.
So, I can decide?
Yeah. You're in control. Imagine that. Go on. Imagine it.
Maybe I can make some new friends.
Okay. And what are their names?
Telly and Melly.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is 96.
I'm gonna spend every lunchtime with them for the next 100 years.
Really? 100 years is a long time.
Well, at least as long as we can then. It will be hard, but we promise to call each other.
And then?
Then I'll study hard and focus on school.
Okay. Then what happens?
Then I'll travel the world. Do you want to come with me, Mum?
Well, I don't think you'll be alone. I'm sure you'll meet somebody nice along the way.
What do you mean?
Nothing. Carry on.
And I'll get a job. What everyone usually gets when they're grown up.
So what do you think of it, Hannah?
Yeah, it's great.
But does it make you feel happy?
We can change this, we can educate Tracy.
Remember, you're in charge.
Yeah, I know.
Cool. If you're happy, I'm happy.
Then I'll meet someone.
Okay.
Hey Jean, it's Natalie.
You're late.
I'm sorry.
And I want a house.
Of course.
You're on your way to work right now?
Like the one we have.
Yeah?
And my own family. And my daughter.
Well, that sounds good. And then what?
And I can sing.
Well, that sounds like a good plan. Don't you think?
Yeah. Let's see what happens.
And that was Volvo Moments by Gustav Johansson through Newland. DP, of course, not his brother, Chase Irvin. Edited by Sam Ostrov with Focus Film. A beautiful film, a lot of trio life coming out there, but I can definitely see why you've chosen it. What is it about that film that turned you on, apart from it just being a beautiful, almost a brand film rather than a product film, apart from the end?
It's like a mixture of things. Gustav is an amazing director, first off, and there was another Volvo film, I think it's Winter, which is just equally as amazing, but his ability to capture human emotions without dialogue just seems to be on a different tier to a lot of other commercial filmmakers out there, and he's been doing it for quite a long time as well, successfully.
Yeah.
Also, I feel, and for me personally, it's like these are car ads that have a good backbone of a narrative. They have a good story, and there's a lot of creative space where the visual narrative is being put together, and all these sub-scenes, the other scenes are being connected effortlessly. And it's just very encouraging and exciting to see this kind of work being made in the commercial level for brands. So I find that personally really exciting and interesting. But yeah, this is like Skoda, like the DP, the editor, the director, these guys are at the height of the powers. It's just great to see the chemistry working and the brands signing off and stuff like this, and it coming out, way better than looking at a car commercial with a car in a garage somewhere with some uninteresting facts. At least there's the ability to tell an interesting narrative here. I mean, I was quite torn between another one, I think that came out recently, which was by Fred Platchon or something, on Academy, where it's like you follow a girl from her childhood to her elderly life. Like, I love those kind of stories that span a whole entire lifeline. I think that's hugely ambitious for a 60-90 second commercial, but also, I mean, wow, what a hell of a story to try and take on. So it's like these stories that have big essence of life, and I find really attractive, but also I'm in awe of as well, you know.
Yeah.
Where'd you start? Where'd you start writing it? Where'd you start casting? Where did these scene ideas come from? Yes, there's a lot of true life in there, but that's not a bad thing in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I think it's a lot of people being trusted or trusting each other in order to achieve films like that with a brand, with the money, and trusting that the audience as well is out there that is going to want to watch a film like that for that long. It's not the same as producing a 30 or a 60. It's very ambitious in a lot of ways. But yeah, wonderful team. Of course, you've got to aspire to work on those kinds of projects, hope that they come your way. And I think as much as you maybe want to move away from the cycling thing, I think it's definitely stands you in good stead, and I really look forward to seeing more from you, and hope that you'll come back and talk about more of your work, whether it's this work or perhaps stuff that you make in future. Everybody, thank you very much for being there in the chat. If you have any final questions, get them in now. You better get in quick. I'm going to wrap things up, because while I wait for that, I am going to check the fundraising thing right here and hit refresh and see what happened. Oh, yeah. Thanks, guys. Natalie, again? You're in the running here. You're in the running. Good play. Somebody anonymous, £10. Thank you so much, whoever you are. Dan, again, another contribution. Thank you. You are in the running as well. Really appreciate that, guys. That puts us within striking distance of the £1,000 target. Yes, we're going to do it. It's going to do it at the very start of next week. I am going to be taking Monday out of streaming, so I'm not going to be here, but we probably will be back on Tuesday or Wednesday, so stay tuned. So with that, thank you very much to Andrew for coming on. Really appreciate it, man. Thanks for letting us pick over your work. Have you what's next for you? Are you sort of got anything in the oven at the moment, or what?
Just trying to do top line treatments for 3 or 4 ideas, but they're all very different. But in essence, there'd be more performance and some choreography, and hopefully maybe one more cycling film. But yeah, I'm just trying to figure stuff out. But yeah, just trying to use the time at the moment to get these initial ideas down.
Yeah, nice one. Well, good luck to you, man, and stay in touch. Everybody, remember to give Andrew a follow, but also make sure that you follow everybody else in the chat. Kathy Wang, Natalie, Daisy, Rex, everybody. Guys, thank you all so much. We really appreciate it. Hopefully you didn't tune in last night where I just kind of made a bit of a faux pas about a pregnant woman running. Don't go back and watch that. Let's just forget it. If you were there, you saw it, it's over.
Leave
it's
it
gone.
on, leave it.
Oh yeah, it's gone. It's gone now. I just didn't know. I had no idea pregnant women were encouraged to go jogging. Anyway, thank you guys all for coming. At that point, I'm going to say goodbye. Bye, guys.